Hi,
Oh,
how's it going?
joining you from a lovely hotel room.
Hey, I'm in my apartment today because there were so many people at the office.
Oh, right, because normally this is at night, and today we are here in the middle of the day.
Middle of
Kind
the
of
day.
exciting.
That's a cute little hotel room.
Um, it looks cuter than it probably is. It's very dated, so like it's 85 degrees in here because the air conditioning doesn't
Oh,
work. And it's right across the street from some bar. So like last night at 2 o'clock in the morning, it was Cinco de Mayo, and people were still going straight. So
that is exciting.
thank goodness
Hi, Heba.
for your
Hmm,
How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
thing.
I can hear you,
Okay.
yes.
I'm gonna
Okay, cool.
Hello, Heba. How
Hmm.
are you? Welcome, welcome. I'm
Oh,
so excited. I feel like that when I first texted you, it was forever ago. And when Kai said you're joining us, I was so excited.
I was so excited as well. And then Kai just realized I didn't respond to your last email with my headshot. I saw that yesterday and I was like, oh my God. I'm so sorry.
it's okay. It happens more often than you think, and we love the beauty of the internet because then I just get to go find one.
So half the time I mentally respond in my head and I forget to respond in real life.
Yes,
I'm
I
a busy lady. Okay,
No, I'm so
Kai.
happy to be here. Thank you guys.
Oh, thank you for joining us. Kai, how is this? I am, like I said, I'm in a very old hotel room. Is the Wi-Fi okay?
as of right now, it glitched out right at the beginning, but I feel like you're solid for the moment.
Okay. I saw it glitch and I went, oh gosh. So I've switched it to a hotspot on my phone. So hope that works. Okay. So let me just jump in really quick to welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming. This is Fabled Fantasy Book Club, The Guild, and we are so excited today. We're doing things a little different. It's noon. You're joining us in the middle of your workday, probably. But it's a big deal because Heba Al-Was, oh my gosh, Heba Al-Wasity is joining us, who is the author of Weavingshaw. And we have talked about this book and been so excited about this book for so long. So we're so excited to finally do a deep dive. For those of you watching the replay, spoilers abound in this book. So if you haven't watched it yet, you might want to press pause and come back after you have finished. Kai sends out an email tomorrow with a link to the replay so you can come back and watch. We've prepared a ton of questions, but we also want to leave room for you to all ask your questions. So if you have any comments and questions as we go, there's a little chat box down below. You can pop into that. There's a place where you can ask questions. So Kai and I will go through and briefly look at those as we chat. So without further ado, Kai, drum roll. You want to do the big introduction?
Absolutely. I will do our official introduction. Heba Al-Wasity was inspired to write by her own experiences of being born an Iraqi refugee in Libya, growing up in Canada, and attending medical school in the UK. She has worked in emergency care and most recently in primary care, gaining firsthand insight into the ways that poverty and deprivation can lead to social inequalities. She currently lives with her husband near Manchester, England. That's why we're meeting at noon today, which is so exciting. Thank you so much for literally joining us from across the ocean. And just close enough to the moors that set her imagination alight. Today, we are diving into her novel Weavingshaw, which I just have to say, I finished last night. Like, I often try and read these books closer to the interview so they're fresh. Oh, I am fresh off of reading the book and so
Hi.
excited to talk about it. It is a darkly romantic, slow burn gothic fantasy romance following Leena, a young woman haunted by ghosts as she sells her secrets to the mysterious and ambiguous figure known as the Saint of Silence to save her brother. Little did she know that she would upturn her life as she derailed into a world of sinister secrets, buried histories, power struggles, and literal demons, all leading her towards the cursed estate of Weavingshaw. Oh my gosh, this book.
I
So,
know.
So good. We are so excited to chat about it. And again, thank you, Heba, for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Okay, so Heba, we have to start in the beginning because you're a doctor. What
Yeah.
are you doing writing a fantasy book? How did this come about?
So I never saw myself as a writer. I didn't think I was a very good writer, to be fair. So I got graduated early during COVID from medical school. So I was 23 and I started working in the wards very quickly. And then it was the height of COVID and everyone was really unwell or dying in a rate we've never seen before. So that my on-calls or my night shifts would be like non-stop, incessant, like running around trying to see everybody, just not having enough time to see anybody. And then I wouldn't have a break. I wouldn't even have time to drink water. My only 5 minutes I would take for myself the entire 12-hour shift is to go to the bathroom and look at myself in the mirror and just kind of think of my story of Weavingshaw to kind of get myself out of like the moment. And when I get home from my shift, I couldn't sleep, so I developed a bit of insomnia because I think it was quite traumatizing for me. So the only way for me to like help myself go to sleep to process my emotion was to write. So I wrote for myself. I didn't even consider anyone's gonna read it. I thought it was like I was a bit embarrassed about it if I'm being honest, because I was like, I'm not a writer, I'm a doctor. Why am I writing this fancy novel? I've always loved to read, but this is so embarrassing. So I wouldn't tell anybody until like I think after I finished, I showed it to my sister, and my sister was like, "It's not very good, but it's not bad. Keep going."
Kai, I feel like you know what that's like.
Oh, yes.
You have sisters.
I have four sisters,
That's
four
what you
older
did.
sisters. So yeah,
I have two older
lot of
sisters.
Be the
lovely
first to tell
feedback.
her it's not good. No.
Um, so she told me go back, rewrite it, and then I did because I was want to impress her. So I did, and then later on she was like, "It's actually quite good." Sent it to publishers, and then with her help, I did.
Wow.
Wow,
That's
that is
incredible.
really incredible. It's such a creative story. What was kind of like your initial just idea? Like when did it start forming?
So back to my sister again. So back when I was like a kid, I have two older sisters, and my eldest sister, her name's Mace. She was always quite creative. So one day she came to me, and she gave me and my other sister a writing prompt. She said write about a building that has a soul. So my other sister went to write about a school that like hunts the school children, which is really cool. And then I thought about Weavingshaw, but I never actually like set pen to paper until the COVID time.
Wow.
But like, that was years ago, honestly.
So she
That's
tells you it's terrible, but she inspired it.
Yeah, I know it's so annoying. And the worst part is she also inspired the character of Leena as well. She's very similar to Leena. And like she's so smug about that. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Incredible. The other thing I read about you was that you actually have dyslexia.
I do, yeah.
So tell us what that's like, because I feel like writing a book would either be helpful or just be really hard.
So basically, I was diagnosed with dyslexia when I was really young. So I couldn't read for the longest time. I couldn't read till I mean 7 or 8. So I was always in the ESL classes or like the second like extra help classes. And because it took me so long to read, for me it was extra magical because I see everybody else reading and I'd see like and for me like I couldn't imagine what it must be to like see letters on paper and for that to create stories and worlds and castles and princesses. So I'd always ask my mom, how does it feel like to read? And then she'd get really confused because she was like, what do you mean? You just read. But for me, it was like, oh, it must be magic to read because like then like, so how else are all these stories being made? And then so it took me ages. So when I finally started learning how to read, I ended up like really helping my own dyslexia because I got obsessed with reading. So I would read really fast and I would read as much books as I could. So that really improved my reading grade by myself. And I think going through medical school and becoming a doctor, I realized there's so much doctors who actually have dyslexia or ADHD that go undiagnosed because
Real.
so many 'cause it kind of forces them to be lateral thinkers and forces them to learn in different ways. I have like maybe 7 friends who are doctors who all have ADHD or dyslexia. I have a bunch of pharmacist friends who have like dyslexia as well. Or just we went undiagnosed until like late in their university years when the uni was like, I think you might have dyslexia. But I was lucky because I was diagnosed early. And then so the way dyslexia affects me is not the same way it affects other people. So when I'm tired, I end up converting all my K's into B's and all my R's into B's. So I have to go back and double check all my like when I'm like manually making a script. I also have a lot of trouble with grammar. So I had to teach myself about commas and semicolons. So I had to go back and learn how to do grammar properly. My spelling's atrocious, but luckily there's a lot of like spell checks. Um, and what else? Oh, I can't tell my left and right, but that's okay because that
I
doesn't.
can't either.
Yeah,
That's
that's okay.
I feel like your story is so inspiring. And I feel like that would just encourage so many other people to, not let a disability like that stop them from exceeding and writing a book.
I'm so glad. 'Cause like I think 'cause I work with a lot of disability in my like day job.
Yeah.
And like what I realized is that almost everybody has some level of disability that
Mhm.
it just shows in different ways, like intense anxiety, depression, like mobility issues, arthritis. We all have something stopping us, but we
Mm.
find ways to make it work.
Love
Yeah.
that.
I also just love the curious mindset that you have because I feel like that comes across in your story. But I did want to ask, how was your publishing journey? Like,
Mm.
this is your debut novel. You're a doctor who had a story that's, was inspired when you were a kid by your sister. You've been writing it for years. When did you decide, I'm gonna try and get this published? And what did that kind of look like as you kind of got to it being out in the world?
So, once again, I genuinely thought my book was not good. I thought it was crap, but I'm gonna do it anyways. If I knew how hard it is, like if I knew the stats behind getting a book published and how hard it is, I probably wouldn't have done it. I probably would have scared myself out of it. But luckily enough, I was like so unaware. I was like very blissful, like la 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 la, not thinking about it at all. So what I ended up doing, so when my sister was like, she's the one who encouraged me. She's like, I think people should read this. She's like, if I was a reader, I would like. No, she's a reader, but she's like, if I was like, if I didn't know you, I'd want to read this on my own. So she really encouraged me. So I ended up going to a bookstore and getting the Writer and Artist Yearbook, which
Oh,
tells you all about yeah different agents. And I did some really good research about different agents and what they want. And I just ended up sending it off with very little expectations. Once again, I just did not think it was good. I did the best of my abilities, but like in my head, I wasn't a writer. So I sent it off, and then I thought I just wouldn't hear back for months, and I thought it'd be all rejections. So I was in clinic one day, and then like very shortly after I sent it off, and I got an email from an agent who offered to represent me. And I was very lucky because then they end up getting like a lot of other agents to like offer to represent me as well. But I remember sitting down on my clinic just crying because I'm like, oh my God, other people like it.
read my story.
So then from then on, it wasn't too hard for me, I think, to get go from like having representation, editing the story with an agent, and then getting published.
Mm,
That I
incredible.
think that's quite lucky, I think.
Absolutely. Now that you've been through it all, would you do anything differently?
I think, ooh, I would tell myself, I think the thing about publishing is that there's so much waiting. So
Mm.
like, you're waiting for one thing, you're waiting for another, and like half the time you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So I would just tell myself to have patience and that it's okay. Things are happening, you just don't know what's going on half the time, and that's fine. I would also tell myself don't take on too much because because all of last year I was finishing the edits for Weavingshaw, finishing I was writing book two. I had two exams for like to become a family doctor. I got married. I moved houses. I did very loot. I signed 35,000 copies by hand. Um, I'm sure I did a few other things as well, but I don't remember. I saw at some point I almost had like a mini mental breakdown. So like I was like, I'm doing too much. I was also working full time as well.
Right. I mean, that just the wedding and moving is a lot.
And then at some point, I made my husband plan the wedding because I was like, I can't do all of this. I can't do it.
Just tell me where to be at what time and I'll
I
show
don't
up.
care. Roses, carnations. I don't care. Just pick it.
Oh yeah, that just sounds like a casual year, not not too, that is wow. Well, thank you as the readers who have read the book for putting in so much effort amongst your own crazy because it is so phenomenal. Like this is genuinely like this book has been such a standout for us. I know Lee Ellen immediately once she read it flagged it was like, I want to get involved with this. Several of our other booksellers, our bookshop manager, Hannah, who is just, oh my gosh, she's like the most pixie fairy bookish person on the planet. And I'll not forget the day she turned to me. It was the day that Lee Ellen had like given me your contact information to try and set this up. And you confirmed with us. And Hannah, she turns to me, she goes, have you read Weavingshaw yet? And I was like, I just confirmed an interview with Heba. She goes, I'm gonna lose my mind. And so it's just, so incredible. And I want to get into the research and the writing a little bit. Um, so much of this novel is drawn from your own experiences as a refugee growing up. What did that look like, kind of processing that and putting it into your book? And did you have to do any additional research on top of it for your world in Weavingshaw?
So to be fair, I didn't even realize I was processing it as I was going writing it. But basically, I end up going through a lot of my old journals from when I was a teenager to when I visited Iraq for the very first time. Oh, sorry, my sister's calling me. Getting canceled.
Put her on. We have some questions for her.
Like embarrassing stories about me. So I went through my old journals, and a lot of this will come a lot in book two, but a lot of what Leena is feeling is kind of reflected on what I was feeling at certain points in my life. And I ended up like processing a lot through her, which once again I didn't realize I was doing that. It was just very cathartic to me. Um, and I think what I did a lot was going back to my dad and asking him a little bit about our history and what brought us from Libya to Canada. I also reflect a lot about childhood and then my kind of struggle living between two worlds, living with my parents who are Iraqi and then wanting to like also blend in with my Canadian school friends. So it's a lot of self-reflection to be able to construct a character like Lena.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, there's a lot going on in this book. Since you have never written a book before, this was your debut, did you try to model it after a book that you'd already read, or did you have like a book that kind of inspired you as the basis of writing this one?
Well, that's a really good question. Probably not. I did have an obsession with Jane Eyre at some point in my life. So
Uh,
I read that like three times in like very small, short span of like I think within a couple of months I read it like three times. Um, so I think I got a lot of gothic looming atmosphere from that, but I don't think I modeled it from any book. I think it has some themes that I do love from other books, like Found Family, which
mhm.
is like one of my favorite themes. I got that from one of my favorite books growing up, which is called On the Jellicoe Road by Melina Marchetta. It's like a YA novel. Oh,
What's it called?
On the Jellicoe Road. She's an Australian writer and takes
Okay.
place in Australia. But it's basically about this group of friends who like hate each other at first because they're from different factions. But you see as they come together and they like, develop this found family. Beautiful. Love that book. But I
Love
use a lot of
it.
those themes in like Weavingshaw, and I think probably other themes I liked from other books.
Mhm.
So cool. I had an obsession when I was a teenager with Jane Eyre. I don't, it's one of those, it just like digs your claws in. You're just like, it's so dark and moody. Which are words I would use to describe your book as well. It's so atmospheric and you can feel the gothic energy. I love hearing that like Jane Eyre was some inspiration for that. But you also live near some like moors. Can you kind of just share a little bit more about the setting and kind of what you wanted the world to look like and the kind of tension you wanted to get across with that atmospheric description.
So I'm really lucky because I live in the north of England, and I don't know if you guys have been to the UK, but like I'm obviously grew up in Canada, so it's very different from Canada. It's very rainy. It's not today. The sun's like shining in my eyes. I don't know where to sit because I'm not used to having any kind of sun in the UK. But it's actually very moody, rainy. When you go to the moors, even if you're going alongside a trail, it feels very like exactly like those mini series on BBC adaptions. Like it feels very like atmospheric as you're walking through the moors. I wanted to kind of for it to come alive for the readers, and I wanted to kind of give ode to the old Gothic books of the past, like The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins, and like of course the Bronte sisters. I want to kind of like bring bring that feeling to life while also kind of being suited to modern readers, if that makes sense. So I had a lot of fun kind of throwing in all the gothic themes I could think of into this book and just kind of being a bit more melodramatic with it in certain scenes.
Mhm.
I love it. Sorry, one of the scenes that I found so dramatic that I just adored, and I was like, yes, this is the drama we live for, was when she finds spoilers abound here. I don't know why I still sometimes get scared talking about the books that we're talking about. Um, but spoilers are really about to abound to the second. When she finds out that he is Bramwell
Yeah.
Avon, and she literally strips down to her chemise and steps into the ocean. Like, I'm like, girl, yes. Like, that is the drama we're looking for in this life. Like,
Dramatic. Like the other day, I was at the ocean with my family, and then it was really cold. I was thinking of Lena. I was like, nothing would get me into that water right now. I don't know. I don't care what secret I learned. Nothing would get me into that cold water right now.
so good.
But like,
I
I really
loved Leena. Like, was she inspired by anyone in your life, or did she just like actively live in your head?
So I had the hardest time writing Lena. Saint Silas was very easy for me. He's kind of stayed the same from the very first moment I thought of him. But Lena was very hard for me to get. I want to get her properly. And I realized she was exactly like my older sister. And that became really easy. And the funny thing is, when my sister would read it, she'd be like, "Oh, I wouldn't react this way," because she knows. She knows that like she's inspired by her. She's like, "Oh, I wouldn't react this way," or need to make her a little bit braver here. And I'm like, oh, and I go back and I change it to make it like a little less, yeah, more. But yeah, she's inspired by my sister.
Love it. Those
I
sisters come in handy.
I know sometimes.
The book is broken up into three parts. You have the reckoning, the revelation, and the ruin. Did you know kind of going into writing it that you like were these your pulse points from the start, or did you kind of find them along the way?
So I've always had a plan for the books. So then the
Mhm.
beats have always stayed the same. A lot of times the characters come to life and they talk to me or they refuse to do certain things I want them to do. It becomes very annoying. But saying that, the way to the different beats or the plot points may be different, but the plot points almost always stay the same. But because I've planned it, a lot of tiny details in the first book become really important in the second book and third book, which makes it a bit more fun for the readers and easier for me as well. And luckily enough, I wrote the book two while I was still editing book one. So I was able to make sure that all these small details still kind of match up. And but yeah, so everything's kind of pre-planned mostly.
What about the viewpoints? Because you start off in one point of view, right? You've got Lena's, and then it little by little you sprinkle in these others. So what was that decision like? Were you like, this I need more backstory, or like how did you decide to add more?
So it was basically, I think Weavingshaw is a bit difficult because there's so many different secrets going around, and there's so many different people who know different things at different points. So the only way I think to communicate things to readers was to have the different like perspectives without like Lena learning everything herself, and with the readers knowing different things at different times other than Lena. So I think that probably came more accidentally. But I did really enjoy writing through the different perspectives. It was quite a good, challenging exercise.
Yeah. I think it really helps when you start getting that other voice because you obviously we love Lena and you get in her head and but then you only see other people through her eyes. So I do think it helps as a reader to have the other perspective, but I'm sure it's harder to write.
Oh yeah, no, it was quite difficult to write. I did my best.
You did great. I love this book.
No, I feel like the pacing of it was so nice because I feel like we had fully settled into Lena, and then it was like, oh wait, I just learned something, and it kind of propelled the story forward. I also really loved how, let's talk about it. Lena sees ghosts, and sometimes they possess her. How you were able to like bring in perspectives in history through those possessions. Can you share a little bit more about like why demons and death magic? When, it's fantasy. When you're writing fantasy, you kind of have to land on a magical element to structure the story. When did you land on kind of this death magic vibe? And did you ever toss up any other types of magic that you wanted to like maybe play around with?
So I think the idea of ghosts came to me while I was working during COVID. So I ended up seeing a lot of patients dying, or a lot of like I do a lot of death certifications on patients. So then I go see a patient who recently died, and you do that thing where like time of death, blah blah blah, kind of thing, right? So you listen to their chest for 5 minutes, you listen to their heart for 5 minutes, you actually make sure they've actually passed away. So I because it was COVID, I do that maybe like 10 times a night, like a shift
Oh,
or
wow.
so often. Just for references, like on a normal day, that's not COVID related. You would do like a death certification once a month, once every 3 months. It was
Oh,
like it was absolutely it was something completely off the scale. So because of that, I think it was a way for me to once again process everything I was seeing, like to bring up ghost and to bring up like I guess death magic. Because I was thinking a lot about like what happened to patients and to people when they die, and if they kind of still live on, or they just completely pass away. So I was once again just processing everything I was seeing in the book.
yeah. I mean, but then we process it with you, which I love. I mean, I feel like you informed so much of us as well. So, um, I also, this is fun because now I know you have all these sisters. Her brother, he was so different than her. He's such a hothead. I love the sibling dynamics. So, did you draw upon your own experiences? Like he's so impulsive.
I love Grammy, but so
I do
funny.
too.
All my early readers, I'm the youngest, and I love Rami because I think I'm the youngest, and he
I
reminds me a
think
lot
I'm the Rammy.
Rami. But all of my early readers, so my sister, my agent, my husband, all of them were elder siblings, and then they really disliked Rami because he reminded them of their like younger siblings who are like hot-headed and a bit stupid sometimes, and they constantly have to like save them out of sticky situations. So they told me to have less Rami because they're like,
Oh, poor Rami. I'm like, can we get more Rami? Is he coming back?
I
Are there going to be more of him
know.
in the next books? I love him.
I loved him as well, but I thought I didn't even it didn't clock on to me that like the thing they share was that they're all elder siblings. So I thought they were right. So I was like, oh, I'll just go back and have to delete a bunch of his scenes, even though I really loved him. But now I realize I was right all along because a lot of people have like,
Trust your gut next time.
oh my God.
Will he make an appearance in books 2 or 3?
Definitely, absolutely. I
Yeah.
love Remy.
Okay, good. That's great.
Yes, glad. I was like, his impulsiveness actually made me crack out a couple times, but I also loved him. Y'all,
You're the
when
structured one. You're the,
I am one of the structured ones. He reminded me so much of my little brother. I have four older sisters, but I have a younger brother, and he is impulsive and wild, and just some of these decisions, I was like, oh, I want to tear my hair out, but also I love him. Like he's fabulous. He should be here, please and thank you. But oh man, when he without hesitation just started ripping open the bags of tar, I was like, I was full Lena mode right there. I was like, what the heck? No.
Honestly, 17-year-old me would have done that 100%. And I would have
100%.
done
I just love that there was no hesitation.
that.
I love it. I also love how Lena and Rami, you give them such like good history. Obviously, we have reference of their father who's in prison, and that's he's a big part of like the puzzle piece of the story where they're trying to like free him basically and stop the wake and all that. But also you have little nudges towards their mom. And I was so specifically curious about including the guide to botany and kind of those floral elements in the storytelling. Is that inspired by something in your life? Or why did you kind of use that as a connection piece and also as like an encouragement for Lena throughout the book? Um,
So I can't spoil too much, but death crypts become really big in book 2 and 3.
Oh.
It's like a kind of like a really big deal. Why I've written a lot about that in book 1. It's gonna be a very big plot point coming up. So we'll see.
Oh. Spoilers abound.
Spoilers. Yeah, I just have so many questions that I know I can't ask.
Yes, you can. Come on, Kai.
But yeah, we won't get straight answers because the books aren't out.
My problem is half the time I want to give a spoiler. Like I really have to hold myself.
That's
Yeah,
what makes these chats so fun because we've already read the book, so we can talk about it. So you're not just like blurbing.
I want to
yeah.
spoil the next 2 books. Half the time, like, girls, this is what's gonna happen. Don't worry.
Hang in there. It's coming.
What is it like to have the power? Like, to just be like, I know the full story, and they only know this much of it.
Funny, 'cause I've been a reader longer than I've been a writer. So,
Yeah.
but now I'm friends with a lot of the writers whose books I've loved. So now I have like early access to copies of books I would have even dreamed of having like
Yeah.
just a couple of years ago. So I feel like I'm in a point in my life I'm just so happy. Like I have all these books
Ah, I
early.
love that.
All I want in my
You
life.
have time to read them as a doctor and someone who just moved and
Yeah,
just got married. You have no
that's
free time.
true. That's yeah, that is true. But I have them. That's what matters.
Oh
Oh,
my God.
man. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room,
Mm.
Saint of Silence, Saint Silas himself,
Mr. Delicious.
Mr. Delicious.
Mm.
Um, whoa. What? What? Oh, I love a delicious main male character. The slow burn, the yearning, and just you did so well. Was he inspired by anyone in your life? Or was he just kind of like, this is my dream book boyfriend? Because wow.
We won't tell your husband.
Yeah.
Funny because like he's opposite of my husband, and because I'm not a Lena character, I actually wouldn't want to be a Saint Silas in my real life because I'm such a like I could easily be a pushover. I could easily be like, give me an order, I'll just happily follow it. So I'm like, I gotta steer clear. Oh wait. So, but he was so much fun to write. I don't think he was inspired by anybody in particular, but I think I've worked with a lot of doctors who are like really high achieving and really competent, especially like the ones who are like higher up on in rank. So I think probably like without realizing it, I kind of wrote him to be a very competent doctor in like a fantasy world. And that makes sense. He knows his business. He gets the job done.
I
No,
love
that
it.
makes so much sense. Also, because I feel like he has that weight of life and death, because he's indentured to a demon and is constantly trying to not have his own soul, just
Yeah.
taken and destroyed. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Okay, the other thing that I think is super cool about this book is Weavingshaw itself. Like it's so unique to have a place, a house be a character. So what was that like to write where you have this living, breathing, soul-filled house?
I had so much fun writing that. So starting from the beginning of writing the book, I wanted there to be 3 main characters: Lena, St. Silas, and Weavingshaw itself. So I had a lot
Mm.
of fun constructing Weavingshaw, and I wanted to evoke different emotions in different people. So it evokes kind of like this kind of worship from St. Silas, but evokes fear and haunting in Lena, um, and like hatred in Lady Hargreaves, and like fear in Rami as well. Like everyone who goes through there feels something different. And I really like that kind of juxtaposition between St. Silas, how he feels toward the house, and how Lena feels towards it, and how it kind of like they battle each other on it.
Yeah.
I wanted to feel real. I wanted to feel very atmospheric. I wanted to come alive for people.
I mean, I think the house made it really, because you have this like foreboding sense and this like creep. It does have that gothic creepiness about it.
Rebecca, that was a book
Yes,
I was
Rebecca.
inspired by. Yeah, I think I read that when I was very young. I was like 12 when I read it. But to this day, I still remember the way Mandalay made me feel. Like even
100%.
when you
It
feel like
gives
kind of
that
like
vibe.
about the creepiness, like just kind of looming presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we also learned that the looming presence is literally a looming demon living in a lake in the crypts. Um, can you talk a little bit more about the demons in your, like the Weavingshaw demon, the phrase, Mr. Orley, like these demons, even, Mrs. Van, the housekeeper, but she's a demon, kind of the role that they play, and kind of how the power struggle that they provide for humanity.
So I really want the demons to kind of be this other character, this kind of feeling of strangeness every time you read about them because they're similar to us, but they're not at all. Um, but I also wanted them to be well-rounded. So I think in this book we get that through Miss Van a little bit because I think we start off kind of not trusting her at all, but as we go along, we see that she actually has a good heart. So
Mhm.
I wanted them to be as well-rounded as humans are because a lot of the times, like not everyone's black and white. We have villains, but no villain's truly a villain. They have good points about them as well as bad points. We'll see that a lot more in book two. And I introduce a very special character who I can't talk about now, who is half
Oh,
demon, half human, and my editors are in love with him. And
yay.
he is he is very well-rounded individual. I think he has good points and bad points about him as well. And it just once again shows that even though demons are othered, they're very similar to like the no one's truly evil, no one's truly good.
Yeah, in that too, I think of Percival, Avon, and Lord Hargreaves, like they're human and their sinister relationship is a key part of kind of the propulsion of this first book. And the betrayal that comes in their friendship. But it's kind of like a power grab, a look at what power and greed can do to a person when they don't realize that's their intention. Um, at what point did you, I was like, yeah, I was like, I would say so many of your characters are in a very gray, ambiguous space. Do you have any characters that are a little bit more black and white that you think that you're going to bring in? Or are you intentionally leaving that space gray to bring perspective to the readers?
I think because my work as a doctor, I'm very privileged to see patients and they tell me their secrets and they tell me that like I see them in all forms when they're angry, when they're sad, when they're sick. So for me, I can't seem to see humans as completely black and white because no one's black and white. So I think that very naturally bleeds into my writing where everyone's kind of individualistic and everyone is well-rounded. Everyone has good points and bad points to them. So I don't think I'm sure I will write a black and white character at some point, but I don't think the next book I think everything will be slightly more gray in the next book, definitely.
Honestly, I love that. It's like it I feel I was like, yeah, it just I don't know, it just sets a tone and perspective to reflect on real world. I was like, that's what I love about fantasy. It's like it takes you out of this world, but also you learn from it. And so it's not to like think in black and white. So it's really
I want to dive into a little bit about Lena because I feel like she is, a classic refugee tale. Like she's got her foot in two different worlds and she doesn't feel like she belongs in either really. And she's trying to find out where she belongs. So, um, and I love her story. Do you feel like now that your book is out in the world, have you heard from people that feel like I can totally relate to Lena? Like I love her.
I have actually. So I've had so many readers reach out to say that they found themselves in Lena, which also like it's so stunning to me because I've always kind of felt alone in those feelings of kind of being between two worlds. And then hearing that it's resonating with so much other readers, I'm like, wow, I guess we're all feeling this way, but there's not been many books or like characters in the past who we've been able to resonate with. I think there are definitely more these days, but I think growing up, I just didn't read a lot of characters who kind of like had that experience. So I'm really glad that like people reaching out to me. It's been amazing. It's been really great.
Yeah, I mean, that's the importance of representation in books because you want to feel seen in your novels, and then it also helps that story be told.
Yeah, honestly, I'm so happy. Like people are actually like giving it a chance and like reading it. Even people who are like who don't have that experience are still giving it a chance, and they're like, "Oh, I've never saw like the world this way," but I'm so glad I've been given that perspective. I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah, that is the beauty of fantasy as well. Like these types of books, you have access to people that maybe you wouldn't normally have and be able to share your story and background and history through the lens of fantasy.
Yeah, it's so cool, honestly.
I love it. One thing that stood out to me at the very beginning of the book, as I read books, I have a chaotic note that I keep on my phone of just like live thoughts or like quotes that catch my eye. And early, like super earlier in the book, Marjorie is talking to Lena and asks her, "How much further will you fall?" And Lena's response is, "Until there is no distance left to fall." And I felt like that set such a good tone to her character of like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Kind of was her persistence a key factor for you as a writer to just get right. Like, having that mindset of like, I'll do whatever it takes. And you see that in her sacrifice over and over again for Rami, but then throughout the story it shifts and she's starting to sacrifice for Silas as well.
So I think Lena had to be a strong character in order for me to like be able to match Rose St. Silas, or else it would feel like the power, the breath, like the power struggle would be too much. I wouldn't feel comfortable matching him with someone who was more like it was easy to be stepped on, if that makes sense, because like there'd be too
Mhm.
much distance between their power. And the way I initially thought to write it was that in the beginning, Lena kind of had no power, and Saint Silas had a lot of power. And then you see as they begin to shift, and they come in the middle at some point, and at the end, Lena has all the power, and Saint Silas has none of the power. And
Mhm.
she's the one who, like, 'cause she came to him in the beginning to save her life, and now he's relying on her for his life, like, to save his life. So in the end, she has all the power, and
Yeah.
he doesn't have any. So I wanted that kind of like but she had to be a persistent character. She had to be brave. She had to be strong in order to allow that power shift.
Love it.
But I couldn't do it. I'm like, I couldn't do it. Tell me to jump, I say how high.
I think that's what makes this like such a great, long, drawn out, slow burn though, right? Because that power dynamic, it's not something that doesn't shift overnight, right? It has to have this like process, and they both have to have so much character growth in order to make that process work.
Yeah, I always saw them both as kind of half dead in the beginning of the book, and they're both like unburying the other person to bring them back to life, and they're like
Mm.
unearthing like their core as they continue on with the narrative.
Mm. Wow. I love how in their dynamic, um, they both very explicitly in their own point of views at different parts of the book make it known that it has to be the other person's choice. Like they have to choose each other first, but they can't they still haven't quite connected that they have chosen each other. You know? It's oh my gosh, the tension is insane. It's,
I'm
oh,
so excited to share a second book because that tension just keeps going. I'm so excited.
oh.
Well, I'm so curious about the choice to keep it closed door
Mhm.
because it worked. Will you stay in that vein going forward or not?
It'll definitely be more like steamier in the next book. But because I'm a doctor, I just feel like if I ever do write an open, it might make patients uncomfortable to come to me in the future if I ever do write something a bit more open door. And for me, like kind of governing, like having that good doctor-patient relationship is probably the most important thing in my life. I just never want to do anything that might like jeopardize it because they might not feel comfortable coming in the future talk about like contraception, about anything. So I just want to be like, I just want to be very respectful of that, but it'll definitely be a bit more steamier in the next book.
I think it worked. I mean, I think that tension in this makes it even more special because when they kiss, it is like
It's hard earned.
oh, it's like earth shattering, and it's just a kiss. It's like so much more than this.
No, yeah, a well-placed line like of yearning can supersede any open door scene for me personally. Specifically, I was like, I think I know I wrote it down somewhere. Yes, I
I
literally
have all caps notes from Kai in
so,
our
like
chat.
looking in my all cap section, like right at the end, when
Fever,
they kiss,
blood,
like
death, hot,
he's literally
yearning.
like he's injured, he's got a fever, there's only one bed, he's hot, he's yearning, he's in a fugue state, like all this, and he says, I'd be much obliged if you kiss it better. What? God, what a banger line. Like that is that is worth the first 300 pages just to get to that one line. So well done. And yeah, I cannot, I look so forward to what more we can get from their relationship and hopefully a love confession to each other at some point. But no rush, but that'd be great.
I'm trying so hard to spoil anything right now, so I'll try to keep it all in.
She's like, I am not answering any more questions because I feel like I'm going to spoil something. I know
Um,
a cliffhanger is brutal, but you did it beautifully. I mean, if you're going to do a cliffhanger, this was the way to go.
I've had so many readers curse me for that cliffhanger. I'm like,
It was well done though, and it was multifaceted because you had like the pace really amped up at the end, and then you kind of got hit from all sides. So,
like
um,
everything's going wrong for them in that third part. Like nothing's going right.
yeah, yeah.
The last 100 pages genuinely are just like so propulsive. And there's so many stories within the story. And so you're like tying up some, setting up others, and starting whole new ones. How did you like, how hard was it to kind of tie those threads and know how you wanted to end this one? Like, no, like, I mean, what a line. Just, I release you from your contract. What the heck? Like, how did you know that was the end of this one done?
So then when I first sent to my agent, it actually ended earlier. It ended when we realized that like he's indentured to the demons. So he's like, oh, I'm indentured for like 120 years. But my agent was like, it's not punchy enough. So I really racked my brains. At that point, I didn't want him to release her from the contract just yet. But I really racked my brain. I racked it. I thought this was the only way. So I had him release her from the contract. And then like as a result, it made everything it accelerated the pace a little bit more in book two, which I think we'll all see soon.
Ooh! All right, are we to the point where we can ask about book two, Kai? Do you want to
Yes.
ask about book one?
Well, okay, can I make one more?
Yes, please.
I'm so curious about the scent recognition. Like the lavender. Why include the scent recognition? Like that, I feel like that's a choice. You decided to do that. That did not just happen. Can we hear a little bit about that?
We all love it when like a guy thinks you smell nice. Like, don't go. I do smell like lavender. I do smell like floral. Like we all love it. So I
And she was putting it like in her hair earlier to like ward off demons, right? Like it was part of in
yes,
the
it
beginning.
was, and then became kind of like part of her, and he notices. So like and then she just smells nice, and then he notices she smells nice. Like it's nice. Like I want to smell like lavenders all the time.
Her doctor, you smell like antiseptic.
Yeah, that element of noticing, chef's
Yeah.
kiss. I mean, just yeah.
Yeah. he's a winner.
Yes.
Okay, so we want to know book two. What's Can you give us any little like synopsis, or you want to tell us little nuggets that will keep us going for the next year while we wait for it?
So it's coming out in April.
Oh,
Uh,
it's that soon? Oh, that's
yeah,
fabulous. We're
I
not going
know.
to
I'm
miss
so,
a whole
I've
year.
already I've written it all. It's just with my editors at the moment getting like edited. Um, it's the relationship progresses a lot, but then we learn a very dark, very big secret about Stay Silas very soon. About halfway in the book, which changes everything. So I'm
Oh,
not even sure if I'm like revealing too much right now, but we'll
Another
see.
big secret. This is, in a book about secrets, I'll take it.
The worst secret we find out.
Oof. What can
oh.
be worse than the ones you've already laid out?
Think my heart can take any more secrets, Heva.
Yeah, I will say I did know that it was coming out next April because it releases on our bookshop manager Hannah's birthday, and she found it first, and she's like, "This is the best birthday gift ever." Because
Don't know the release date, do you know? I
I
know.
it, she found it. I was like, it could be this book. We talk about a lot of books. I could be mixing it up, but
I don't know because all I know is it's April. Who knows? What
yeah.
we're not told a lot as authors. We we do as we're told.
It's like I want to say, yeah, I can look it up real quick. What's nice about
Right?
bookshops is that we get really cool information all the time. Yeah. Wha- Number two, April 6th,
Wow,
2025.
exactly like it's less than a year. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, that's great. Good.
Now you know.
Wow. So are you done with book three? Or are you still writing book three?
I'm writing book three, which I like to write the next book as I'm editing the previous book. So I just make sure everything kind of ties together.
Mm, right.
That's so
Wow.
smart. And is it just a trilogy or do we have content for years?
No, for now, just a trilogy.
Are you already thinking beyond this then, since you wrote this kind of all at once? Like, will you stay in the fantasy lane? Do you have any desires to write, historical fiction or straight romance or anything else?
I would love to write historical fiction. I just don't have time to do the research for it, but I would
Mhm.
love it. But probably continue with fantasy, continue with romance. 'Cause I just have a lot of fun with it. It is at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you have to write something that's fun for you. And I
Yeah.
had so much fun like creating a world, creating characters, and having that kind of yearning intention, and like having characters who would be perfect for each other, and then finding reasons to like keep them apart until like the very end. So I
Wow.
probably will continue on with that.
I
Love it.
love it. Also would love to know, speaking of, you've said many times you're a reader. Is there anything you're currently reading that you're like excited about? Or like a favorite book that you've read recently?
So I just got an early access to Zulfa Katu's new book. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right, but As Lemon Tree Grows,
Yeah, love
her
her.
new book, The Ocean Will Paint Me Blue. And
Mhm.
that's the book I was telling you about how like I got early access. I'm so excited. And it's
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. I'm like just over the moon, just like I'm trying to savor every word because I don't want it to like end. But it's beautiful, and I encourage
Incredible.
you to do it. So
Yeah.
I'm so happy that like because I she ended up DMing me and I'm like, please just give me your book. I don't care.
Oh, how fun. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, we love her.
She's great.
Are
Yeah.
you like, do you have time to read with your job?
It is so well, I don't really like watching TV.
Mm.
So I love like so in the evenings, my husband will like have his Xbox out and he'll
Mhm.
play his game and I'll just be reading on the couch next to him, we'll have a cup of tea. And for me, that's like a perfect evening. Like I don't want to be doing anything else but like reading on the couch next to my husband. Like I don't care.
Probably a nice escape too, and so different from the pace of your day.
Exactly, yeah, it's a really great escapism. And then I think in order to write, you have to read. Like, there's no other way about it. And like, there's so much beautiful books out there. And I'm just because I have a huge bookshelf, but I'm afraid that I might die before I read everything. All the books I want to read.
No, you can't see because I'm in a hotel room and Kai's at our apartment, but we're the same. We usually have a big stack of.
Like big expanse. I was like, I have my little shelf behind me, but I have many more in other locations.
Never have too many books.
It's funny. When I moved from Canada to the UK, obviously I had only two suitcases. When I went to uni, I had only two suitcases to like pack my entire life. And then one suitcase I just filled with books. My
Uh,
sister was like, "You need other stuff to like live a whole year out." I'm like, "That's all I need."
All I need is fun. That's fantastic.
I love it. Well, I had one more question for you. Like, this is your debut novel, your first kind of go around. It's been out for a little bit now. What has been your favorite part of having your work out into the world? Like, what has brought you the most joy since releasing Weavingshaw?
Definitely just meeting readers and like booksellers because I've always wanted to like be friends with bookish people, but like I've always just been friends with science people. So like being able to talk books with other people who love to talk books has been such a joy in my life. And it would have made like 10-year-old me so happy. Like to know that one day I'm gonna have a job in which I can talk books all day. Like I'm like over the moon about that, honestly.
I love that. I feel like Kai and I could totally relate to that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
People are the best people.
Book people are the best people, and we're so glad that you joined us. Like, this has been so much fun. I know we will all be itching for April 6th, 2027 for Briefing Shaw number 2. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much for your time, Heba. I know that the time change is crazy, but I appreciate you coming on and chatting with this.
Thanks for having me. I literally checked the time change like 12 times today because I was so afraid I might miss it. But like
I
thank
was the same thing, especially because I'm not even at home right now. I'm at a hotel. So I was like, okay, wait, what day is it? Is it this day? What time is it? So fantastic. Thank you. We appreciate this. It was so great to hear more about your writing process and the thoughts behind this book. So we can't wait to read what's next.
you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Thank you. Miss Kai, do you want to announce next month?
Yes, I am so excited. I wish I had a copy with me, but
No,
I
I'm
don't.
like, I'm in a hotel, so I
I,
don't have mine.
every single time I forget.
All right.
But yes, there it is. Next month, or right now, starting now, and meeting next month, Wednesday, June 3rd at noon as well, we will be reading Sunyi Dean's The Girl with a Thousand Faces. I am going to
I
drop
love her. You
the,
guys, she wrote The Book Eaters. She's just fantastic. So it's a very
yeah, I
cool.
just dropped the links where you can buy the book and register for next month in there if you want to. Also, or Leon, can you tell me? I have not read the book yet.
Oh,
I
love
just
this.
downloaded the audiobook. Do you have any like buzz
I mean,
points?
it's another like ghost. It's a ghost talkery book that deals with generational trauma. So I love how creatively she writes. It's super immersive. It's a little dark, but I think people are really gonna love it, and we're gonna have a lot to talk about. So
Yeah. I was starting to do like a little bit of research on Sunyi and found out that she was born in Texas. She didn't grow up here, but she was born here. So that's really cool. So, but also she lives across the pond, so it'll be another noon meeting and then after
catches up with
noon
my
until
crazy people I find that don't live here.
yeah, we will shift back to 7 p.m. time and have some exciting authors lined up that we haven't quite announced yet. But oh, it's getting so good. We love that you guys tuned in today. And we can't wait to see you next month. Happy reading, everyone.
Yeah, we'll see you next month.
Bye.
All right, take care, Kai.